It never rains in California. It pours. Man, it pours. And it's going to be pouring very soon. A lot. And we'll show you exactly how much in Southern California. Start building the ark because here we go. Oh my goodness. Here are the hazards around the country today on this Saturday. It's February 3rd. It's 2:30 in the afternoon here Central Time, by the way. Dense fog advisories earlier today across much of the northern plains, central plains, including my county here. We still have a little fog hanging in there, but mostly it's just cloudy now. The visibilities have improved quite a bit. Now, I owe Mississippi an apology. Northwestern Mississippi is under a flood watch. It has been active for days. There's a dam that might break. So that's why they have the flood watch, in case the dam breaks. Now, they're saying it doesn't look like the dam's going to break. Nobody panic, but they have the watch in place just in case. So that's what's going on there. A little bit of wind for the Florida Panhandle and down near Mobile, Alabama. Some river flooding in the places we've been highlighting the last few days as well. At least a possibility, so watch out for that. Meanwhile, in West Texas, far West Texas, New Mexico, it's high wind watches and warnings and wind advisories and one red flag warning, which basically just wind. So wind is an issue with that first storm, and then the second storm moving into California we'll highlight here in a second. Further to the north in Colorado, it's winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, all the way up through Wyoming into Utah, Idaho, Montana, parts of Oregon. But you get into California, that's where the action is. Winter storm warnings for the higher elevations of Northern California, the Sierra Nevada. It's flood watches for Central California all the way down to Southern California. It's wind along the coast with some high wind watches there. And so it's just another storm moving into California. So it's going to get kind of crazy. So again, here's a closer look at Mississippi with, again, the possibility that a dam might break. So as long as that danger exists, that flood watch is there. And they are expecting some pretty good rains too. So, hang in there. Again, it doesn't look like it's going to break, but just in case. A closer look at California with what's going on. I mean, almost the entire state with some sort of watch or warning because of wind, rain, and snow. Here's what's going on around the whole country on the surface. We got showers and thunderstorms from the Florida Panhandle all the way up through East Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. So maybe some rumbles of thunder. And some of those could be heavy enough rainfall for Louisiana, into southeastern Texas for some heavy rain and some flooding. Perhaps some general rain, Alabama up through Nebraska, South Dakota, even into Montana. And then further to the west, it's a mix of rain and snow, or snow and heavy snow for the northern Rockies and Montana, for the Rockies and Colorado, as well into northern New Mexico. And then California, heavy snowfall for the Sierra Nevada, then a mixture for the foothills, lots of rain, and again, enough rain along the central coast of California for heavy rain, flash flooding possible there as well. Today's highs, well, some 80s in Florida, 70s otherwise through much of the south, some 60s thrown in as well. Texas, lots of 60s, a few 70s. And then we have 50s all the way up into Kansas and 40s all the way to the Canadian border. You have to get into the Rockies for highs below freezing, also into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and parts of Massachusetts. So, yeah, on the warm side for much of the country, although cooler than average for California with all the rain and the next storm that's moving in. Tomorrow's surface shows that storm moving in. And California, just heavy snow for the mountains into Nevada, heavy rainfall for much of the state with flash flooding possible, and even some thunderstorms thrown in with that. Oregon, just your regular rain. It's that time of year. And, of course, eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, into Nevada, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, it's your regular snow, heavy snow for the Rockies of Montana, and then that swath of rain from South Dakota all the way down into the south, with thunderstorms for Oklahoma thrown in, also Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. And some of those could be severe on the southern tip of Florida tomorrow. Tomorrow, also, we're looking at the possibility of severe weather along the central California coast. Marginal risk for some severe thunderstorms and general thunderstorms otherwise in the light green. But what about tornadoes? Yeah. It's a slight chance of maybe a tornado or two along the central California coast. A little unusual, not unheard of, but we just hope it doesn't happen. Okay, that would be good. Poor California, you're just getting it. All right, GFS model time. As we go through time, we're starting here at noon, which was a couple hours ago. So let's move to current time. And here's how things look as this big area of rain approaching the central California coast. And of course, once it hits the mountains, that's going to be heavy snowfall. And again, we'll show you those amounts here coming up. Also in Louisiana, it's heavy rain with some thunderstorms, and then rain just all the way back into South Dakota with a few embedded thunderstorms, maybe Kansas. Some heavy snow in the mountains of Colorado, lighter snow in the northern Rockies. Now, you hear talk of an atmospheric river for California, sometimes known as the Pineapple Express. What happens is, and we'll see the low forming here off the northern California coast, the flow around that is going to bring moisture from the tropics into California, and that river of moisture is that atmospheric river. And if it stretches all the way back to Hawaii, they call it the Pineapple Express. All aboard the Pineapple Express. Here it comes, Central California. This gets us to early morning tomorrow, like 1 a.m. California time. And this is San Francisco right here. So showers, thunderstorms, again, watch out. Tomorrow is when we're talking about the chance for some severe weather and maybe an isolated tornado or two. And then, of course, once that hits the mountains, that's heavy snow. Snow back in the Rockies. Here's our rain from Kansas all the way down to the Gulf Coast, moving into Florida now. And again, watch out tomorrow for a chance for some severe weather in southern Florida. But California, just getting hammered. This is a 985 millibar low, very tight isobars here, which means a lot of wind, which we showed you. There are wind advisories and high wind watches in effect. Showers and thunderstorms, very heavy rainfall, Central California coast, very heavy snowfall for the Sierra Nevada. And it's just kind of crazy. And as we go through time tomorrow, we see all that heavy rainfall north of San Francisco, also moving further south towards LA, and the heavy snow in the Sierra Nevada. Some pretty good thunderstorms here also in Alabama, Georgia, moving into South Carolina. This gets us to late in the day on Sunday. And as we move into Monday, we see these thunderstorms moving into LA and even into the deserts east of LA, and that's snow in the local mountains and the Sierra Nevada as well. Some thunderstorms, South Carolina, and lighter rain for other parts of the South. And again, this is Monday noon Central right here. We see the snow spreading inland into Nevada, into Utah, parts of Wyoming. Here's Yellowstone. And then still, it's raining pretty good. LA Basin down to San Diego, and still raining along the coast, although it's lighter here. Thankfully, some pretty good snows for the Siskiyous. And rain with some thunderstorms off the coast of South Carolina. Going through time, you can see the heavy rainfall now in Southern California for the most part, including the deserts east of town. Riverside County, look out. This is not quite Tuesday, so this is late Monday night. And as we get into the day on Tuesday, this is 1 a.m. Tuesday, California time. Showers and thunderstorms, snow in the local mountains. Gorman. Have you ever been through Gorman? I was there one time. The pipes were frozen. So you don't expect that kind of cold weather in Southern California, but it happens. Gorman's got some elevation. And then also the mountains east of LA into Nevada. And then more into Tuesday now, or entering Tuesday. This is noon Central Time Tuesday. Showers and storms continuing. LA, look how low the snow levels are, coming right on down. Not quite into LA, but the mountains around LA are going to be nice and white. It's going to be pretty. And snow for Reno, Carson City, and it's going to be rain for Vegas, but snow's probably going to get close. They do have some mountains nearby, so they'll probably get some snow from this. And then this rain and the snow moves into Arizona, although persisting in Southern California, but lightening up now as we get late into the day on Wednesday. So, I mean, that's what, 2-3 days away. So our snow moving into Nevada, into Utah, heavy snows in Utah, also the mountains of Arizona. Prescott from the last storm got 9 inches of snow. And so it looks like probably more snow for you, Prescott, and places like Payson and, of course, Flagstaff. And so showers, thunderstorms, convective snow maybe, or at least heavy snow coming down in Arizona, moving into New Mexico, really the whole Four Corners region. This is Wednesday early in the morning. And as we go into the day Wednesday, we see, just scattered snows across the entire west here and a little bit of rain in the lower elevations. But looks like the snow levels are pretty low, even Oregon, Washington. We're starting to see some thunderstorms break out now. Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle into Kansas. As we get late in the day on Wednesday, rain for Minnesota and North Dakota and South Dakota. Unusually warm. I wouldn't say it's unheard of, but it's warm. It's like 20 degrees above average. So the showers and storms sort of disappearing in the plains, but reappearing over my head. So we do have rain in my forecast. This would be Thursday in the morning. So here's Omaha, here's Lincoln, here's Harlan, where I live, Mason City up here, and maybe even some thunderstorms into Wisconsin. There's Green Bay right there. So it's thunderstorms this time of year for Green Bay is weird. Oh, look at this, a little bit more rain for the Central California coast. Why not? A little bit snow for the Sierra Nevada. This gets us into Thursday at noon Central Time. Big low here affecting a large area. And so rain out ahead, light snow behind. And whatever snow we might have left on the ground by then is going to be gone. Although it's mostly gone now. We had 2 feet on the ground. As we got into the third week of January, it's mostly melted now. So sad to see it go. But I'm hoping that we'll replace it later in the month. But this storm now finally bringing some snow to North Dakota and South Dakota, into Wyoming and into Montana. And then another area of showers and heavy snow for the Sierra Nevada. The West Coast just not getting a break from Mr. El Nino. And showers, storms, heavy snow with this low as we get into Friday. So this is 7 days away. Heavy snow for Utah and moving into also Arizona. Now, all of this rain and all of this snow, when you're talking about the watershed for the Colorado River runs right here. The Colorado River supplies the water for California, for Arizona, for Mexico, and for Utah, and for others, for Colorado. All of this rain and all of this snow is great news for the Colorado to fill up Lake Mead. This is fantastic news. When it rains in Arizona, it fills up the aquifers. So they rely less on the lakes and the reservoirs in the Colorado River system. The snowpack is going to be fantastic for this winter's runoff. So this is great news for the Colorado River system and the water issues that crop up from time to time, in the desert. So this is fantastic. And that snow continues into northern Arizona, the Four Corners region, where they need it for that reason. As we get into next weekend, this low kind of hanging out, moving into the plains, getting weaker with a little bit of light snow, kind of dissipating, and then it just gets kind of quiet as we get through next weekend. So the the snow that I saw in Iowa on yesterday's run has disappeared from this run. And so that's why when you see something over a week out in the models, you don't get too excited, because things could change. Now, if you see consistency run after run after run over a period of time, then you can start having a little more confidence in it. But it looks like next weekend's snowstorm may not be at all. Maybe for New England as we get into, 8, 9, 10 days out. All right, enough of that. Let's talk more about California rain and give you some amounts. This is what fell yesterday. So San Diego, an inch and a half LA. And you see up in the mountains, of course, that was snow. And so the whole state getting pretty soaked, over an inch for portions of the Northern California coast, or at least a half inch to an inch for much of the rest. Inland a little less, quarter inch to half inch. But here's what's coming this weekend. My goodness, this is on top of yesterday's rain. So this only has a quarter inch or so for San Diego, but an inch to 2 for the LA basin, and even out in the deserts, you're talking half inch to an inch. And then further north along the central California coast, anywhere from 2.5 to almost 5 inches of rain coming up in the next 2 days. And then up towards San Francisco, you're talking 2 to 4 inches, depending on where, 2.5 to 4 inches, depending on where. And then even in the valleys inland, you're talking an inch or 2. And of course, when you get in the mountains, that is snow. In the Sierra Nevada, just a quick look at this map, you're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 feet of snow for the Sierra Nevada. So a lot going on, most of it in California. Start building that ark. And the song's true. It never rains in California, but man, it pours. Y'all hang in there. We'll have an update for you tomorrow after church. Thanks for tuning in. The Weather Mite.